Yeah, I mean, we've been fortunate. We've been on the list for the last 5 or 6 years, and when we first entered the list, it made a huge impact, especially for all the international travelers.
Are big spenders back? I mean, you've been in New York now, I think, 10 years.
Yeah.
When did you really start feeling them back?
I mean, you know, there was like the days, I mean, I think like 2007, and we would call them whales. They would come into the restaurant and spend like, you know, $30,000, $40,000 on wine.
Yeah.
And it was just crazy, and it was going like the stock market. The market was going well that day.
There's your correlation.
It was insane. But that has changed. I think we definitely the restaurants are going very well in New York in general, but and the spending is definitely up. But that kind of spending is never come back, and I also feel it's healthy. It's much better.
To only spend 20 grand a night on wine. That's sustainable. You know, you should be able to get a decent bottle for 20 grand.
That's how Hans rolls.
Yeah. Well, here's my most important. I mean, I know we should talk about the list and whether or not it's real or fake, but should I order the cheapest bottle of wine? When I go to a restaurant, I always order the second cheapest because I don't recognize any of these labels. Come on, impart to us the secret. Am I wrong? Is my strategy going to backfire?
Oh, that's a tough question.
Where are your margins the highest on wine?
The margins are the highest on cheap wine.
Okay.
Yeah, and that is very common.
That just clearly
I'll stop buying $100 bottles of wine. I'll stop with the cheap wine.
The most expensive wines have the least margin, but also, I mean, I know the wine, and I always go somewhere in the middle. And you know, I think you know, Rhone Valley or something like that is always at a good price. There's certain wine regions who get you good wine for a good price.
Yeah.
Daniel, you're one of the most talented chefs, of course, of your generation. Give us a sense of how difficult, and we have a lot of CEOs on, right? And they always tell us, look, our most difficult challenge is to motivate a team, is to keep talent. And what happens in the kitchen is quite, you know, very similar to a trading floor or even a big business. You have to motivate people. It's under pressure, long hours.
Yeah.
What's your #1 tip?
No, I think it's exactly that. I think the morale, and in all of our meetings, I always talk about the morale, how is the morale, and we're very sensitive that the morale is high, because that is the most precious thing, and when the morale is high,
it works well.
It just works so much better.
When we get to this list, right, there's a lot of talk about. There's been this kind of rival movement, Occupy 50 most you know, famous restaurants, best restaurants. Do you feel like the numbers are fair on the list? You came in at 5. Are the numbers cooked? Are they corked? Is there something wrong in the sauce?
No, you know, I mean, there's so many rankings these days that, you know, and that's a really good thing, because in the old days it was all about Michelin. And if you didn't get recognized by them, your restaurant just wasn't full. And that has changed a lot. I think there's so many different lists, and every list has its, you know, its ways, and you can argue it. And you know, to be honest, you know, people, you know, are there politics involved or not? But you know, in everything in life, politics are involved. So, you know, you can either fight it, or you can be on the, you know.
I certainly hope so. The next time I try to get a table at your restaurant, that's why I'm asking you these softballs. Like, tell me why your soufflés are so excellent.
But you know, one thing I can tell you, that when there is a ranking, when there is a list, I'm much rather further up than further down.
Yeah.
That's a very fair point.
Yeah.
Daniel, give us a sense, actually, where do you eat when you're not eating in your restaurants? You know, a lot of our viewers fine dine, they love great restaurants. And is it easier to find a table in New York or London?
I mean, they're both amazing cities, right? They both have amazing restaurants. In New York, I actually don't eat that much out because I'm always in the restaurant. I'm lucky to travel quite a bit, and when I'm on my travels, I always try to find, you know, the best restaurants. But the best restaurants, I always ask the locals. I say, where do you eat, you know? And I always try to find things that I cannot find anywhere else. And that's what we're trying to do at 11 Madison Park, to really create a sense of place and an experience that would only make sense in New York.
Quick question, waiting list at Madison Park after the list.
I mean, we're lucky. We're full. We take 28 days in advance reservation. So
I get a table on Friday.
Yeah.